Two-time national champion, number one ranked in the country, Jesse Mendez.
Could definitely debate he's the most technical wrestler in the game.
In the first period, the two-time national champ delivers.
Whoa. Mendez just gets better and better and better. He puts an exclamation point. Jesse Mendez gets in that position. He's going to score. He has been fantastic, undefeated. This guy's in the mix for the Dan Hodge Trophy.
I'm just trying to dominate matches and, take it one match at a time.
You just heard the voice of Shane Sparks, our favorite.
Jesse Mendez.
Number 2 Ohio State Wrestling prepares
one
for
of
a
the
huge duel against top-ranked Penn State this weekend. The Buckeyes are led by senior Jesse Mendez, who's been dominant at 141 pounds throughout the course of his career. Mendez is searching for his third straight national championship this season, owning a 17-0 record heading into the weekend. He also owns a 78-5 career record. Really impressive stuff he's accomplished there in Columbus. And speaking of, we welcome in Ohio State wrestler Jesse Mendez for today's
Jesse Mendez is the Ohio
interview.
State Buckeyes
Jesse,
wrestler.
thanks so much for stopping by Big Ten today. How's it going?
As he joins.
It's going good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's start with your team and the tear that you all have been on. Number 2 in the country, 17-0. Your team historically has been really good nationally, but this season just feels different with the tear you all have been on. What's felt different for you in the way this team is approaching the season?
Yeah, I mean, just from the end of last season, we've been on a mission from the start of summer till now. We've been putting the work in, and we didn't start the season by saying we wanted to be national champions, but if you just come in the room and you see the way we work, I think it's a given on what we want to do, and then that's when I win a national title.
Yeah, when you talk about some of the work you put in the off season or maybe even in practices right now, what does that look like for this team? Give us an idea of what the day-to-day might look like for a group that's performing as well as you are.
Yeah, it's a little different once you get into that Big Ten schedule. You have a hammer every weekend, so you got to taper back a little bit. But earlier in the week, it's usually a long drill day, maybe a double. Do some technique in the morning with your personal coach. So I go in the morning, with Jay and Davino, and we do some technique, and then the afternoon's a long drill. Maybe Tuesdays live, Wednesdays on your own, Thursdays weight cut. Fridays it's go time.
Well, we're almost at goal time with it being Thursday, early afternoon. I do want to talk about your individual career. You're in your final season in Columbus. You have been dominant at 141. What has the season looked and felt like for you in just your approach to competition, trying to go out on a high note?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a super fun season. I try not to think about the end goal too much. I'm trying to just enjoy my last year as a Buckeye and, help my teammates as much as I can and, not just fall into complacency. I want to continue to get better because I have aspirations after college to, go on and win world and Olympic titles. So just day in and day out trying to get better, whether that's on the mat or it's aspects of my life outside the wrestling room.
Love it. Looking forward to watching you in an Olympics. Now, last weekend, you took part in your final duel in front of Buckeye Nation. You were recognized along with some of the other seniors. What has that place and the support from those fans meant to you throughout your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's been surreal. I say it all the time. I think we have the best fans in the land. And, when you're showed that much love for the 4 years of college, I want to go in every day and work hard for them. I have people I could let down, and that's a blessing.
You mentioned a minute ago some of the lessons you've learned off the mat as well. How has Ohio State and the team even impacted who you are as a person as you head off to your next pursuit beyond college?
Yeah, I say it all the time. When I was looking for a college, I was looking for somewhere that, obviously would make me a better wrestler, but I wanted somewhere that was going to make me a better man as well. And, when you're surrounded by people like Jaggers and Stieber and Tom Ryan, and it's hard not to become a better person. So I see the type of fathers they are, the type of dads they are, husbands, and I just see the way they conduct themselves on a day-to-day basis, and, that's how I want to be. So, I just have so many great people around me that have helped me take strides outside the wrestling room.
Yeah, you mentioned some of those coaches. In a lot of interviews I've been reading, you really praise them for the impact they've made on you. How would you describe your relationship with some of the different members of the coaching staff and the impact that they've had?
Yeah, I say it a lot. It's a lot of times you have an athlete coach kind of a camaraderie, but with my coaches, I don't really look at them as coaches. When I go in the room, there's a couple of my buddies that just so happen to know a little bit of wrestling. So it's fun being around them. Like I'm not going into practice like, oh, this is just gonna suck. I'm excited to go to practice because just there with all my boys doing hard things.
I do think it's interesting you mentioned kind of taking things one day at a time for yourself personally and for the team, but obviously you ultimately have an end goal of winning a national championship, and you've also talked about the drive to win the Hodge Trophy. How real does that feel for you at this point in the season, and is it in the back of your mind at all, especially that individual award?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think about it too much. Honestly, you have to take it day at a time. There's wrestling in the NCAA D1 is too hard to be looking forward. So, there's a hammer week in and week out. So you just have to focus on it one weekend at a time. And, I'm just trying to focus on each match and focus on dominating, separating myself from the pack. And, that leads to a Hodge. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Since you brought up each match, you and your team have a huge one coming up this weekend against #1 Penn State, the dominant force in college wrestling. What would it take for your team to get a massive upset in that one on Friday?
Yeah, I think it's just going to take them being themselves. They, we just have to let go. It doesn't matter what singlet they have on, what the records say. We put the work in, the hay's in the barn, and as long as we go out there and wrestle for 7 minutes as hard as we can in every position, I think we can do it.
The Bryce Jordan Center also draws a great crowd. Penn State fans usually bring the noise, as we're looking at some video of that right now. What's it like to wrestle there and take part in a dual meet in that type of environment?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I love going to, the enemy territory. They they bring out a good crowd, and, they don't like you, they're going to boo you. So, I enjoy that. I enjoy the extra pressure of having an arena full of people that want to see you lose.
Is there anything specifically for you that you're looking to accomplish this Friday in order to get the win?
Nothing specific. I just got to wrestle my match and, again, wrestle for 7 minutes with full effort. If I wrestle like me for 7 minutes, I'm going to do what my team needs me to do in order to come home with a dual victory.
I got to talk to one of your teammates, heavyweight Nick Feldman, a couple weeks back, and he talked about just how close this group is. But how would you describe the special relationship that you have with your teammates and the way that drives this team to success on the mat?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody says they have a brotherhood, but, I just think we have something different. Like, I would do really anything for these guys, and, they could call me up at 2 a.m. saying they need to talk, and I'm going to sit there and talk with them. So, these are just my brothers. I've enjoyed every moment of this season. It's been one of the best seasons for us. Outside the wrestling room, just camaraderie-wise, like, I just think, this is a tight group of guys that are willing to do anything for the team.
Feldman told me that you might play poker against each other. Who's winning when that happens?
Oh, it's me every time. And if I'm losing, I come back quick.
I can only imagine what those games are like with just how competitive you all are.
Yeah.
What about your senior class as well? I mentioned you got to take part in senior day last weekend. I know when I talked to Nick, he brought up just how close you all are because you've gone through this entire experience together. What did those guys mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, those were my guys. Carson, Patty, Fenton, Carter Chase, like all of them. They meant a lot to me. They're really good friends, really good partners, and it's gonna be weird imagining this Buckeye team without them, which I feel like is something that we go through every year. Just imagining a team without the seniors, but I think we're leaving the team in good hands, and I'm excited to see what they do.
Real quickly, before I let you go, what is a fun fact about you that the average person would not know?
Fun fact. I like hanging out with my dog, my girlfriend. I like golfing, rock climbing, going hiking, bunch of outdoors things.
Love it. What kind of dog?
He's a mutt. He's got like 30 things in him. He's like pit, lab, husky. He's got 30 dogs in him.
Well, you know what? Mutts are the best breed, in my opinion. Jesse, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck this weekend. We look forward to watching you the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right.
A huge Friday night wrestling.